The excitement is back around Kentucky basketball after the Cats scored 100-plus points and almost doubled up the Dominican Republic Select Team in the first of 4 exhibition games in the Bahamas. I'm Drew Franklin here in the fake Bahamas at my house in Kentucky, but Jack Pilgrim woke up at the 5-star Bahamas Resort thanks to our friends at Condado Tacos over at the Summit at Fritz Farm. Check out Condado for all your taco and marg needs. We thank them for partnering with KSR for our Bahamas coverage. As for the game, Kentucky won 108-56 in a very well-rounded and exciting effort. Jack, we could go on all day about how fun that was. I mean, where do you even want to start? Let's just get your general thoughts going.
Let's start with 3 things. Baseline dunk number 1 for Damian Collins, baseline dunk number 2 for Damian Collins, and 360 dunk in transition for Jacob Toppin. It was a highlight reel in the making from start to finish. It felt like they were going out of their way to make a highlight every time they went down the floor. Jacob Toppin tried to kill a guy. He missed the dunk and kind of fell in a heap, but he was clearly looking to make a statement. The entire team was looking to make a statement. John Calipari and our sit down with him in the team meeting the night before in his just absolutely colossal team player suite that we talked about on the pre-rapid reaction. He said that he wanted to make a statement. He wanted to go out there on night 1 and have fans come away saying this team has a chance. And I think 108-56 against a team of grown men, 26, 27-year-olds, I think they did just that.
Yeah, I think those dunks are everyone's real takeaways. And shout out to our boy, Dr. Mike, for that amazing photo that Damian Collins probably already has hanging up in his bedroom at home. He looked like a different human being than we saw last year. At times last year, looked very uncomfortable, out of place, definitely underweight against SEC competition. But Damian Collins 2.0 in the Bahamas looks like a man out for blood and very confident in his own game. I mean, is this what we're going to see in the season to come?
Yeah, he's a guy that he's looked clearly comfortable in the face-up game. He was knocking down jump shots, hitting threes in the open practice 2 nights ago. He hit 51 three-pointers in 5 minutes, which is unbelievable considering UK's best shooter hit 63 in that same span, 12 more for or 12 less for a guy who's 6'10" with a 7'5" wingspan and jumps 42 inches. So clearly he's doing something right. He's knocking down jump shots. He's taking people's heads off, dunking on them, and he just looks like you said, completely different play. And he had a couple of very strong finishes around the basket where he finished through contact. There was a lot of talk, can he add the weight? How is his body going to adjust as he tries to, mature and develop his body? He had a couple of very strong finishes, finishing through contact, got a couple of and-ones down low. So that was definitely a sight to see. That he was my number 1 takeaway. He looked like a completely different player. And if he's playing that way, I don't know how this team gets beat. I'm going to be totally honest.
He was one of the real stars. And then another guy that we mentioned after the open practice at the telethon, Antonio Reeves, I believe he was your MVP in that game. Kind of wondered if that was a one-off, what he'd be like. And then he again showed out, really showed off that 3-point shooting, which will come in handy. Obviously, Frederick is the guy that will be the star in that role, but Reeves looked right there with him with how he was capable of shooting that ball last night.
Yeah, he went 4 for 5 from 3. There was a lot of talk about, just kind of how his adjustment was going to be coming from Illinois State, going to Kentucky. I'd said on the open practice rapid reaction that there's a lot of talk behind the scenes that his adjustment was actually faster than Kellen Grady's coming from Davidson. And we're only in August. I mean, it's August 11th, and he his first time wearing a Kentucky uniform scores 12 points on 4 of 6 shooting, 4 of 5 from 3 with a rebound and an assist and a steal in 19 minutes. I mean, if he's able to provide that every single night, again, Kentucky needed that type of go-to scorer off the bench, starting however you want to use him, losing Davion Mintz, losing Ty Washington, losing Kellen Grady. If he can just be that go-to spark plug either off the bench or in the starting lineup, this team is really, really dangerous.
Now let's just keep going with the surprise players. Who had Adou Thiero looking like he would right away? Kid that doesn't even get offered till March. He's unranked. They say he's grown 3 inches since he's gotten campus. How about this immediate impact we're getting from him?
Yeah, 7 points, 3 of 4 shooting, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals in 10 minutes. I mean, name me a more well-rounded, all-around instant impact stat sheet than that. I mean, that was about as impressive as you can get in limited minutes. He is going through physical growing pains. He told me last night that he was still growing, that he could get as tall as 6'10". And, right now he's standing about 6'6", 6'7" and continuing to sprout up. He's growing way too fast. His knees are hurting. He doesn't know how to handle this growth. I asked him last night, Anthony Davis was another player that was kind of a similar situation. He was a normal sized guard and then just sprouted up and became a 6'10", superstar with guard skills. And I was like, what are you? Like, what are you planning on becoming? And his answer was Kevin Durant. That was his go-to comparison. That's who he's modeling his game after. So Adou Thiero wants to be Kevin Durant. He said, I signed with Kentucky not because I want to be this long-term project, wait and see type guy. He said, I'm coming here to make a statement. I want to come in and prove that I belong. I know I was a no-star, right before I signed, and people didn't know who I was. He came out with clearly looking to make a statement. I think he checked into the game, and like 5 seconds later, he had a steal and breakaway dunk. He had a block at the rim. He, just hit a wide open catch and shoot three where the ball barely even touched the net. That is the type of impact. If he can provide that in very limited minutes off the bench, I mean, goodness gracious, if that's your 9th or 10th man off the bench, I mean, what else do you need?
Yeah, you mentioned how you interviewed him last night. One of the things that are unique about having you down there, shout out to Condado Tacos for making that happen, is, the stuff we don't see. Everyone at home saw those three players really shine, but you got a very unique opportunity after the game with limited media down there. Just tell us what that was like in the post-game experience and how you got these interviews and some of what's to come the rest of the day.
Yeah, we got one-on-ones with Orlando Antigua, Chris Livingston, Damian Collins, and the whole week they're saying, whoever want, you guys are the only people down here. Me, Kyle Tucker, and Keith Farr with LEX18. And they said, whoever you guys want, pick 3 or 4 players. We'll rotate through each guy one-on-one and exclusive interviews. Ask them whatever you want for however long you want. And just a really cool experience. And by the way, shout out Chris Livingston. He was one of the most enjoyable interviews I've ever come across. He is just, he'll talk as long as you want him to. He gives in-depth, thorough answers, exactly what you're looking for in quotes. There's some kids that are shy in front of a camera, don't know what to say, or they're short-winded. And those things. He is the absolute perfect quote. And it was after an absolute perfect performance from him as well. I love what he brought to the table. 11 points, 4 of 7 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block. I mean, goodness gracious, that is exactly what you were looking for when he signed with Kentucky as a top 10-ish recruit out of high school, coming from Oak Hill. It's a prestigious program with a lot of hype, a lot of expectation. And he came in and there was some concern about what his role was going to be because he's a 6'7", kind of mini LeBron of sorts, but likes to float on the perimeter and shoot a lot of jump shots. And there's some talk, is he going to be not use his God-given physical frame to the best of his ability, or is he going to just shoot threes from the perimeter? He did a mix of everything. He was getting the rebounds, he was going, he was attacking, he was knocking down threes. He was as well-rounded and all-around game that you would hope for out of a 6'7", 225-pound mini LeBron.
Well, as you rave about one of the Burger Boys, let's just bring up the other one. My favorite player, who I called months ago. No one can take it. You can have your Oscars. I'm a Cason Wallace fan, and I liked how he looked last night. We saw the defense that he's known for, playmaking ability, and he looks like a solid backup point guard and might even push Xavier for some minutes at that spot once the season gets going. How much did you love Cason Wallace?
Yeah, Cason is, for me personally, my favorite player as well. I know you just claimed the
we can share. You were on him too.
The conductor of the hype train, and I'm right there with you alongside. I mean, again, 15 points, 6 of 13 shooting, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, you go down the list. He just did everything, and that's just kind of what he's known for. 2 blocks, 1 steal in 25 minutes. He's an all-around guy. He's going to get up in your grill. He's going to jump passing lanes, gets you. He's blocked. He's going to dunk on your face. He just does everything. He's a guy that I'd heard behind the scenes is kind of emerging as a quiet leader, somebody that the team is relying on to be that kind of go-to scorer in late game situations. He's going to be with the ball in his hands at the end of the clock and at the end of games. And for somebody to emerge this early, August 11th, as somebody that the team trusts with the ball in his hands late, I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for. Again, I keep saying this is exactly what you're looking for. it's to be expected when you win 108-56 against a team of pros. And Drew, unfortunately, I was there watching the team that Kentucky's going to be playing today, the Monterey Cheddar Tech, whatever you want to call them. There's not a single player on their team over 6'5". I don't want to be rude, but they just didn't look the part of somebody that's like, I don't know how they're going to stop Oscar Tshiebwe. I don't know how they're going to stop Damian Collins. I hope their game plan is better than mine would be for them, because mine would be pray.
Hearing that lines up with something. I got a message last night at about midnight from one of the people putting on the tournament, been helping me with rosters and stuff. And we're just back and forth how the night was going. And he said Kentucky might win by a couple hundred tomorrow. Speaking about tonight's game. So I think we're in for that. When you win by 50+ against a team of pros and former pros, we could spend 45 minutes going player by player. We all know what Oscar is. We know what Wheeler is. I think we've done a good job covering the newcomers, and there's 3 more games ahead. We can see all these players. Just quickly, for all of us that aren't there, what was that scene like? It looked like the crowd turned out pretty well, very exciting. We had Cal's buddy changing shirts mid-game. A lot of side stories going on there. Just briefly, what was it like being in that gym for game 1?
I mean, the crowd was phenomenal. It was sold out for what it looked like. The bleachers were filled from top to bottom. You got a couple Go Big Blue chants. You got all the cheers and celebrations you'd hope for in a home environment, except it was just a very intimate home environment. But you could clearly tell that this was a all Kentucky crowd. You had DeAndre Ayton. We had some celebrity appearances. He's here. He's Bahamian, so he made an appearance. He shook hands with Cal in the middle of the game while Cal was up. His team was up 40 points. He goes over and shakes hands with Cal. He recruited Cal, or Cal recruited him out of high school as a 5-star top 3 recruit. He ends up signing with Arizona, and has some NCAA issues there, but they had a past relationship. You could tell they were definitely buddy. But the crowd was just sensational, very intimate setting, exactly what you were hoping for with. Just turnout and kind of that home atmosphere that I think the players were hoping to see as well. They wanted to kind of get their first taste of what it's like to be a Kentucky basketball player, and Kentucky certainly put on a show regard.
I can tell you back here in the bluegrass, it really translated. I was at KS Bar. That place had to park other side of the parking lot. It was rowdy. It felt like the fan base has really hit the reset button. And even if this was a team that, they weren't going to lose this game, there really is a lot of excitement that we all needed. Looking forward to 3 more games. My understanding is you might sneak into another team meeting today. You're going to be churning out content. Just a little preview of what's ahead from you and KSR from our friends Condado coming up before we let you go.
Yeah, it's going to be team meeting at 10:15 in Cal's ridiculous suite again. We're going to through what the game plan is, what they're hoping to achieve today against Monterey Tech, and then shoot around at noon. Interviews the rest of the day, breaking down and going through all the quotes that we got from last night, posting videos, posting all that good stuff. If you have not checked it out, you're watching it on this form. Hopefully you know where to find it. But the KSR YouTube page, we're going to have plenty of content rolling out on that one. So keep a close eye out on that, and plenty more where that comes from on the website.
Well, back here, we're all jealous. Really wanted to go down the slides with you and Dr. Mike yesterday. At some point this week, we'll talk to you and him about all the fun stuff you've been doing. But it looks like a great time beyond the work, so go back there and get it back to it. Tonight, we have a team from Mexico. As we said, it should be another fun evening for Big Blue Nation, and lots of praise for these players. We'll do this again tomorrow. But Jack, go on, get out there and have some fun before we do it all again.